This is a sefer that I highly recommend to everybody to read it. It's for singers and married people. Okay, it's called Bet Yaakov. This Rav is a very chashuv Rav, Rabbi Lugassi, and he brings like a whole hashkafa. Why Hakadosh Baruch Hu wants man? Why Hashem wants us to get married? Why men should get married? Why women should get married? So here in the Parashat Bereshit, he gives a very, very fascinating insight about the whole concept of what's the purpose of creation, what's the purpose of why a man should get married. So he starts gives a very interesting insight about the whole reason a person should get married. So the pasuk says it should be Hashem Elokim to the Adam Levado. It's a connector. So it says Hashem says it's not good for a man to be by himself, right? And he has to have somebody to help him out. Doesn't say a wife, it says somebody to help him out. Okay, so it goes further and it says that. He says a few points that are very interesting. He says, first of all, what did Adam Rishon needed somebody to help him out? He was staying in a place that Malachim were serving him. But in the beginning, that's what he was. The Malachim were serving him. He had all the needs, right? And he says that also the concept of if he wanted to. The whole concept that if he wanted to get to have children, right? He didn't have to get married, right? A man doesn't have to get married. If you want this Mr. Peruvu, you could have the concept. You could have what we call pelegesh. Pelegesh is a woman that you get married to the ketubah. You have children from that woman, and it says in that case also it would be. So we could do Misa Peruvu without getting married. Peruvu, you don't need to like many people do that. Like they want to have children, they don't get married, and they have children, right? And without getting married, without getting involved in the marriage, going to marriage, and all those things, right?
They're allowed to do that.
Now I'm saying if somebody wants to do a mitzvah of the Peruvu, what's he's saying, why in the world do I need to have this concept of getting married? If somebody wants to do Peruvu means to have children, right? To multiply. A person could do it without getting married, right? So Hakadosh Baruch Hu says that they have to get married. The Torah says that there's a kedushin, all these things, but he's going more further than this. The whole psychology behind it, why the whole concept, what's the purpose of all this thing? And he says he could have get married to have intimacy with the pelegesh, and through that have children. No, it says, but the pasuk says eze kenegdo, somebody that would help him out. That's what it says. Eze kenegdo, right? That what he would bring him up to the highest spiritual level. That's what it is. Wow. The whole reason a person gets married, right? If otherwise he could have. I'm just repeating it again. He could have children from a pelegesh, not married woman. We have intimacy with her, and she didn't. She just have children, and said, "These are my children, and here I did a mitzvah." But it says the whole. That's why the pasuk says, "Ezer kenegdo." Ezer kenegdo means a woman's responsibility is to help the husband to get to the highest spiritual level as possible. So that's what the person should think about when he's single, trying to look for a wife, right? And that's the person a married man should think that his wife this is the purpose of getting married. That's the whole purpose, right? And it is deep, and it says, Gemara says in Gemara Yebamot, right? This is a very famous Gemara that it says the person shouldn't be single. If you want to look it up, it's page 62, Sefer Bet 62b, right? Talks about Kol Adam Shein Lo Isha Sharui Belo Simcha Belo Bracha Belo Tova. Somebody that doesn't have a wife, right? He doesn't have a real happiness. He doesn't have a bracha in his house. He doesn't have no good things going on in his life until he gets married. That marriage is very important. So he comes and he analyzes this whole piece of Gemara. The harvest Bigasi Sherita, he says, what does that mean? Right? He says somebody gets, and then he said B'Marava, this expression they had in all those days. Somebody doesn't have a wife. There is no Torah. Doesn't have really Torah. Doesn't have a really Chomam is a wall. Doesn't have the what he needs to move on with his life. The Torah that he learns, it is good, but it's not the same until he gets married. Now he explained, he says in the Gemara doesn't say if a man doesn't get married, he's not going to have a clean place, right? That he cannot eat, there's no food around, there's no, somebody cannot wash clothing for him, because he could do all that without hiring maids, servants, they would do the job. So that would be not a problem. So the problem is the whole issue is the only way a person can elevate spiritually, right? He has to have wife. When he has wife, that's what he's focusing on. If he has wife, he has simcha, happiness, bracha. He has bracha in his life. He see a goal. He see a reason why he has to move on. Without it, it's very difficult to move on, right? And doesn't say, and he said another thing. He says doesn't say a person would not have children if he doesn't have a wife. You could have it. You could have it without having a wife. You could have children, right? So he says. But because a person could get plegesh, and plegesh is something that most chachamim, they used to have this concept in the olden days. There's something called concubine in English, right? It was something in the olden days which we do not practice right now. It's like it's equivalent to Korean term of girlfriend. It's a similar concept, very similar to it. Huh?
He had a wife with ketubah. He has concubines.
Right, exactly, yeah. Right. And David Hamelech had also. Had also some concubines. He says, Isha nesu'ah lebenzug ishtar. So here goes the whole. So till here is the drawing line. So of why a man should get married. What's the purpose of a man getting married? Now it goes to the other side of the coin. Why should a woman get married? Okay, and what does she achieve by getting married to a man? Because there's another Gemara says men they have a very special desire to have a wife, but they say Gemara says as much as a man wants to get married, a woman wants it double, has a double desire. Why? Because it has some kind of security. Usually the women, they want their husband to be around them. They feel very secure, confident when they have husband around them, and it makes them complete. So they want, but that's just one side of it. It says, so what's the purpose of a woman? What would she do? It says, her responsibility is to bring this thing that Gemara says. Bring this exactly what the Gemara says, that the man without a wife doesn't have a simcha, so she has to bring simcha to his life. Doesn't have bracha, bring a bracha. So bracha, the way the woman brings a bracha to the family, to the sinut, and then tova, and then bring a lot of good things to the husband's life, and Torah, and brings Torah, because the Torah that the person learns with the wife. It's different meaning, because one of the main things that the Torah says, after kamocha, right? The concept that we have to love our fellow Jews. To love our fellow Jews, Many Rabbanim, I think it's Rambam, said it refers to your wife. Because why? Because you love other people too, definitely. But who do you interact constantly with? With your wife, right? So the ahava that you have should be with your wife, right? And also there's another concept of having children from your wife, and also concept of she'era kesuta onata l'tigra, which is pasuk that it says a person should make sure that he is in ketubah, is a promise, is a commitment from the husband to the wife. The she'era means to feed her. You have to feed the wife. Kesuta, you have to give her clothing, and onata is a marital relationship. That you're obligated. Every man is obligated. Every husband is obligated to fulfill these three mitzvot to the wife. This is extremely important, right? And it says, by doing so, she has to bring these things to the husband, right? So that's her job, and by doing so, she also goes up. The same way, so by elevate her husband spiritually. On the same token, she brings her own life, her life spiritually elevated. So she also gets a piece of that. She's like becomes equal in elevation. So it's very important for her to do it. And here it doesn't say this, but I want to add one more thing, right? We've been talking about women's sinut a few times in all these series of lectures that we learned from the different sources, and we said that woman's main role is to be sinua. One of the things, especially married woman, she's supposed to be sinua, but there is another aspect that Gemara talks about it. It says, "Eze isha kishera she'oseh rason ba'ala." So it says, if a woman listens, I'm talking from the side of a woman. If a woman tries to fulfill the husband's wishes, right? Try to fulfill the wishes of the husband, right? That's considered a righteous woman, a woman that is kosher. Not that a man should be the dictator to his wife, but like the husband makes the opinion, and the wife should not contradict him, unless he has something very strong. Otherwise, she should follow her husband. And usually men, by nature, they can do long-term planning, versus the women cannot do it, because that's how Hakadosh Baruch Hu created women, right? So usually men can think long-term for the children, and where to put the kids, how they raise them, where would they go down the line, like 20 years from now. How you want the child be, what you have, what kind of dreams you have for your children. These are men usually have it more than women. Women don't have that kind of perception, because who didn't give them that ability like men have. So it says, and also another thing is, in each family, somebody has to be the leader. Has to be a leader. If a woman wants to be a leader, a woman wants to be a leader, it doesn't work. A man has to be, and so this is, if she does it, there's going to be a big bracha for a family. So we know it from the story of, I've said over before this story, but I'm just going to touch on it again, about Baba Bebuta. There was a couple, there was like a Jewish couple. The woman was Israeli, and the husband was from Babel, so they had some language barrier. So whatever the husband was saying, right, she took it to the teeth. Like he was saying, so for instance, he was saying, please make me a lot of food. He had a slang, he said, please make me two rices. So she made only two, she made little. So Mama, she made just cook for her 2 rices and put it for her on the plate. So what is this? So you asked for 2, I give you 2. So the next time he says, make me a lot of rice. So she went on and made many pots of rice. I give it to put it part of her husband. So he said, what are you doing? He said, you said a lot I gave. He said, I didn't mean that much. Then he kept going on, and whatever he was saying, she couldn't understand it, which was a language barrier. So, but she was trying to fulfill the husband's will. So he says, in the end, he says there was a miscommunication. He said he told him to bring something. He brought him lamp, and he says, where are you bring a lamp from for me? I think I don't remember the exact thing. He said, so what should I do with it? He said, go hit it on Baba. Baba in Aramaic means gate or a wall. Hit it on the wall. I don't want it. Like, get rid of it somehow. And in her mind, he thought he's talking about Baba Buddha, which was a big tzaddik. So he takes it and goes and hit it on the head of the Baba Buddha. So the Baba Buddha, which was a very, very big chacham, he says, my dearest daughter, why you hit me like this? Why you bang this on my head? He says, because my husband said. I said, oh, you fulfilling your husband's will? He said, yeah. He said, in that case, you should have 2 sons like me. And he got 2 sons, big tzaddikim, because
It was a blessing.
yeah, he blessed her. Yeah. So that shows, even though there's a language barrier, and the wife is persistent, and the husband is annoyed that she doesn't get it what he wants, but she keeps trying to do fulfill it, right? That's big blessing come out of it. So that's that doesn't say it here, but that's one of the other things that a woman could do to bring a lot of bracha to the family by listening to her husband in this certain situation. And the husband shouldn't take advantage. I'm talking about just certain things. Bring me, I need some foods, I need a cup or whatever, or making long-term planning. And the wife listens and make her husband happy. It's going to be very good. And then he goes on and he says, that's what her mission is. The husband supposed to the husband has a big mission: learn Torah, take care of his wife, his children. Ketubah says, learn Torah as much as you can, fulfill all the commandments with his complete might, and more than this, he should make sure any time he has after working and also taking care of his wife, learn Torah, because that's what it is now in the Zohar and all the places. It says how important it is for somebody to learn Torah, especially after Chasod. At this time, Hakadosh Baruch Hu becomes extremely happy to learn. Like after Chasod in the morning, those hours are such an important hours. Hashem likes it, and that's why we had this incident right now. It was because Hashem wants us to know how much dedicated we are. I mean, that's what I think was the test. Are we going to get just walk away, or we going to say, no, we are sitting here and going to learn Torah. Okay? And Baruch Hashem, we're sitting and learn Torah. What?
Don't tell the wife what happened.
No. Don't.
She won't let me come again.
Right.
Back to the subject.
Right, so you have to do it with
I
Chokhmah.
don't think you have to tell.
No, you don't have to.
Do you?
No. They say for certain things, you don't lie to people, but certain things you don't have to say. It says, Divrei Sheker Tirchak, which means you should be distance yourself from lying to people.
Like if she asked me when I come, how was it?
Very good, learn Torah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have to say those things. Don't.
Because I know if I say...
Don't. You have to be wise. You have to know women by nature, they are very worried. And you say certain things like this, they get very, very, very concerned. So you don't say this thing. And this is, I'm just telling you, it just is a nisayon from Hakadosh Baruch Hu. The nisayon from Hakadosh Baruch Hu. I tell you this story. Since we have this thing, this is a very famous story of Nebuchadnezzar, right? Nebuchadnezzar, he experienced the resurrection of the Jewish people in his time. Remember there's a pasuk in the Yechezkel and Navi says that there's going to be a certain group of people, they're going to be resurrected, okay? And was he killed a lot of Jewish people in his time. He destroyed the Beit HaMikdash Rishon, right? And then after he destroyed it, he was making cups from the bones of Jewish people. It was very brutal. Nebuchadnezzar was an extremely brutal king. And then he was trying to drink something, and a malach came and grabbed it from his hand, the cup.
Wow.
And then from that cup, he saw it, that all the bones came, right? They got concentrated in one place, and all of a sudden the bones started having flesh on them. And he experienced, he saw in the Gemara Sanhedrin talks about it. They saw the person, all the people, about I think it's 24,000 people, right? They all of a sudden they get flesh over them. They start moving around a little bit and it started getting the shama coming to them and start walking around. So when he saw that, he got extremely excited, and he realized there's such a great God in here. So what he did is just making praise and Hakadosh Baruch Hu with the poem. Gemara says a part of it, and Gemara says the way he was singing it was much loftier. The songs that he was composing when he was singing it at the time, much loftier than David HaMelech. It was so high, they were so deep and high. Wow. And then a malach came and gave him a big slap on his face. A big one. He stopped. He stopped, it didn't continue. So one of the Meforeshim, I read one of the Meforeshim, he was doing mitzvah. Why the malach gave him a slap on his face? He was doing mitzvah, right? You don't stop somebody. And, right? So he says it was a nisayon for him. It was a test, like what you have explained today. It was a nisayon for him. Why? Because he was getting this slap, right? He said, you want to praise me? I'm giving you a slap. You know how many slaps I gave to David HaMelech? Hashem gave. And continued singing and composing and put up the whole thing together. I give you one slap, see what are you going to do? And he stopped. He failed. He failed the test. He failed. So
It's a good.
So it's a good analogy because that's exactly what we went through today.
Yeah.
So Hakadosh Baruch Hu said, "You want to learn my Torah? You want to come here? Show me how persistent you are."
Really got slapped.
What?
I mean, I don't know that hard, but you got kind of slapped.
No.
You're hot.
Well, it's not a big deal.
Not on the face.
No. Baruch Hashem, was okay. It's just basically sometimes this is what it is. Sometimes you go find these obstacles, but the main thing is to continue on. So that was the whole thing. So that's why I want to just answer your question about sometimes for things like another stories that I remember was this. I don't remember the name of this woman's wife, this rabbi's wife. He said, I want to have a child, a holy child, right? So he would go. I don't remember the details on this story. I learned this story many years ago. That the wife went to mikveh to become pregnant from her husband, a rabbi, the big rabbi, Rav. So he went over there to mikveh, and he met somebody that was not pure. When she came out, she wanted to go out with not seeing anything impure. I saw something impure, went back again to mikveh. Then hand towel again. Then again she came out, she saw some kind of dog or something, unclean animal. So she went again to the mikveh. And then she persisted. And eventually, the last time that she toweled, there was no impurity. So she went home, and she had a very, very, very chashuv son from that night of being intimate with her husband. Her husband was a big. So sometimes like this. So do not. It's a test. It's a test that you have, and that's.